G'day and welcome back to another DBZ Dokkan Battle video. In this video we are going to take a look at the Spirited Challenge Goku and Vegeta. So this is the Goku and Vegeta that were given out for the 7th anniversary. Now just in advance, please forgive the background audio. There was a corruption on the video file, and so I had to splice in some audio from another event basically. So it's just going to be some backing track for us. Hopefully it will be able to just take the edge off of a silent video, and I like to use Dokkan music, so gonna try and use this one. In terms of the Spirited Challenge Goku and Vegeta, these anniversary units never received Dokkan Awakenings or EZAs, so don't get excited or think they're gonna get any better. But these guys looked pretty good, and they're on joined forces, which is one of the challenges people tend to struggle with. So I thought, you know what, why don't we take a look and see how they do. So they are Pure Saiyans, category Ki +3, HP attack and defense of 77%. They cause supreme damage to the enemy and raise attack and defense for 7 turns in total, which is pretty good. They have attack and defense of 77% with Ki +1 plus an additional attack and defense of 11% at the start of every turn, all the way up to a max of 7 Ki and 77% attack and defense. They also have an additional attack of 77% starting from the 7th turn, and perform a critical hit with 7 or more Ki spheres obtained. Now obviously in terms of build, I don't think building them into full additional matters too much, because quite frankly, getting 7 orbs is not something you're going to be able to do quite easily. Link skill, Saiyan Warrior Race, Experienced Fighters, the Saiyan Lineage, Kamehameha, Shocking Speed, and Prepared for Battle. So a pretty strong Link set overall. Obviously missing that 7th Link because they do not Dokkan Awaken. And they are only on Pure Saiyans, Joined Forces, and Kamehameha as of right now. So overall a pretty interesting looking unit. They're going to start off very slow because of their base stats, but there could be something that's pretty interesting for a long form event. I think their defense will get pretty decent, and I think you might be able to use them in some longer form events. They share some great links with some joined forces category units, and overall they just look pretty solid. I'm not gonna lie, they look like they could be a solid option to complete some of the joined forces category missions that have plagued people overall. So I think definitely could be a solid solution, and honestly for the most part I think you might be interested in trying it out. So definitely give them a try. I think they'll impress you a lot more than you think, and if you are trying to complete some challenges, these guys could actually be a card that will help you do so, and I'm definitely going to be trying out with them. I'm going to see how they do. I'm going to see if we can use them to complete the Joined Forces category challenge for the LVE, the Fighting Legend Vegeta event. So I think they'll be pretty solid overall, and yeah, just a very, very interesting unit, I think. I think they will definitely surprise you, especially once they start getting built up. So here we go, this is their first turn. They're not sharing a massive amount of links. 58,000 defense, honestly not great at all, but you can definitely see how quick their improvement will be when you take a look. So 800k, also not a lot of damage at all. You could build them additional if you really want to help them build up a bit faster, but it's not going to matter too much. It's really not that important, so to say, but you can definitely do so if you want to, but I don't really suggest it. Going for an additional crit split is probably more than fine on this unit, just considering how they function, how their passive functions, and on the off chance you do get 7 orbs, you do probably want to obviously, like, how do I say, have the ability to do additionals, of course. So obviously based on their first turn, they didn't look that impressive. 58k is not that great, 800k is not that great, but once you realize that they stack on their super attack for 7 turns and that they gain 11% every single turn for 7 turns, you're going to see that they can become really, really strong. Not to mention that after the 7th turn, they're going to have an additional attack of 77%. Now, we're not going to see that here, but you can see we've got links active now. We're all of a sudden up to 98,000 defense, which is pretty good. And we're going to see how much their attack stats gone up. Now remember, they do obviously have support here, and we do have a lot more links active. But we should see a pretty marketable jump in their attack stats. So we're already up to 100k from 60k. There's no defensive support, so all we've gained is a couple links. They don't really give that much defense at level 1, and we're up to 1 million in an attack stat. So pretty good, well, 1.1 million roughly. So really nice jumps already. You can see that the conjunction of their increasing passive throughout the turns, along with that defensive stacking for 7 turns, means that they're looking pretty solid overall. They're looking really meaty. So we're going to see how they get on next turn. Obviously, if you get additional super attacks, the incentive or the nice thing about it is that you then gain quite a bit. So if you get an additional super attack, you then roll that stack for 7 turns as well. So it's very likely that you could get an additional super attack within that 7-turn window, and you could be rolling even more stacks. Now we haven't got an additional super attack, so we're not going to be able to see that, but it means that we're seeing a more purer version, I guess, of how they were doing. So here we have defensive support. Immediately we can see 162,000. Now remember, they can still stack an additional 44% from their passive, and I think they'll still keep one more stack rolling from their super attack. So we could definitely see them get above the 200-250k defensive mark, which I think is very good. Attack stats looking a lot better. Not crazy, nothing wild, but it's definitely looking a lot better. And when obviously they hit that 7th turn, they're going to have that additional 77% attack, which is going to push that attack stat a lot higher. So they're looking pretty solid overall. I think as a unit, I think the rate at which they stack is pretty decent. I think if you look at how quickly they're stacking, I think you could definitely consider using them in events like, long form events like the Fighting Legend Goku GT, Fighting Legend Goku for sure. You can use them in the Fighting Legend Vegeta event. I think they could be an interesting option, and I want to see how well they do when I take on the event. So I'm very excited to see how well they do. I think it could be a very powerful, very good combination. Plus they have type advantage on the final stage. So realistically speaking, they could be really solid. So I'll be very interested to see how well they do. But that's pretty much it from just a little look at their numbers. Honestly, probably the best anniversary unit so far, definitely. And I actually think they're usable in long form events, especially if you're a new player who's looking to complete a lot of the legendary Goku events, the Fighting Legend Vegeta event, Infinite Dragon Ball History. These guys are a pretty solid free-to-play option that you can just actually be added with. Not to mention their leader skill is pretty decent, and they could be a honestly decent option for a lot of players who are just starting Dokkan. So I think overall they look pretty solid. So in terms of their links, we did go through them before, but Saiyan Warrior Race, Experienced Fighters, the Saiyan Lineage, Kamehameha, Shocking Speed, and Prepared for Battle. Pretty solid link sets, nothing too crazy here. I like the double key link. I think for free-to-play units, it's obviously great to have multiple key options. So Shocking Speed, Prepared for Battle, really gives them a nice array of options with units to link with. But generally speaking, you're going to be looking at Prepared for Battle, Saiyan Warrior Race, and Saiyan Lineage being your common go-to links. Saiyan Warrior Race is a great attack link, and of course Saiyan Lineage is also a pretty strong link. Especially once you link level it, it goes from just being 1 key to being 2 key and attack and defense of 5%. Prepared for Battle and Shocking Speed are both very similar in that they gain attack and defense of 5%, and Kamehameha and Experienced Fighters are also mildly okay attack links. Reasonably speaking, you don't get much from link leveling them, barring the additional key from Saiyan lineage, and they already have prepared for battle, shocking speed, and gain 1 key per turn, so you don't really need to link level these guys, nor do I suggest link leveling a anniversary celebration unit. The reason is so far in the game, these units have never received Dokkan Awakenings or EZAs, so link leveling them is not an investment that's going to be good for the long run of your game. It's not anticipated that they ever will. Should they eventually get an easy aim, then obviously it would be fantastic, or even just a Dokkan Awakening. But yeah, definitely would say there's very minimal point in investing in them. Obviously there's a couple units they do look like they link well with, but for example that unit becomes an LR and that LR shares no links with them, so just be careful about that. But mainly speaking, they share 5 links actually, with 2 great options in the form of the Strength Vegeta and the TEQ Gogeta, and they're honestly really great alongside both of those units. So that's a pretty solid pairing that you can kind of run together, and you can really see them running well with. That's gonna be it from me, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. Leave a like if you did, or leave a comment if you need any more help, or you want to give your feedback, or if you're just surprised. But that's gonna be it from me. Bye.